All right. Hi, everybody. Hey, guy. Hey, Tim. How you doing? Hey, Zach. How's it going? Oh, you're at work. All right. That's what I did when I was watching Lisa's show yesterday. I was at work, and I say, hey, I'm doing something in the car. I had to take a test drive so I could listen to his show. But so I do the same thing. Great minds think alike, right? So what are the hey, Annette? How are you? Um, we just it was funny. I went out and I was playing pickleball. I like to go in the mornings, even though even like yesterday I worked from I was up from 8 to 8. Was my work shift, and but I like to go. I go in the morning because it loosens me up, and I'm running. I run around loosens me up. But you would think it would get you tired, and but it just it loosens me up. It gives me energy through the day. But when I get home, I start to feel it as I think I'm getting a little older. I'm starting to feel it more and more. But this I'm off today, so this morning I went at about 7. I got home a little while ago, but I it just it wakes me right up. I have so much fun playing. So I don't know if any of you guys tried it, but it's fun to go through it and play. Yeah, today's pretty interesting, and I was interesting getting the show together because I think last or 2 weeks ago I think I don't know, I felt like I was doing more of a political show, so and I don't whether it goes there or not, it's not that it's going to make a difference to me, but it's not really what I wanted to actually talk about. But I realized that what I feel like everything today is really downstream politics and stuff. That's just the way everything has gotten, or at least to me, it may have always been that way. But I was a latecomer to politics and that stuff. I never followed it. I was always playing ball, and to me, it didn't matter who was president or who was governor or who was this or that, because my life in my neighborhood, nothing changed. It always just stood the same, and so it didn't matter if there was a rhinoceros in there or someone who I voted for. So I never even voted up until uh, I think it was the after 9/11 is when it was like the first time I voted. So, but anyway, if it goes a little political, then just let me know, and and then if we have to, we'll switch gears a little bit. But this is going to be an interesting show, just because we don't know what the tariffs are going to bring, and it's funny. I field calls now, at work, and with in cars. I work at a dealership, and with the tariffs going into place and prices going to increase, you talk to some people over the phone and say, hey, we're giving incentives. So when you come in, we want to get you today's pricing, because when the tariffs take effect, prices are going to move up. And, some say, oh, only on some cars they're going to move up. And, others, they'll say, yeah, no, I know that's what we were thinking. We wanted to come in. To me, it's still, I don't know where the disconnect is with why people don't think that now all prices may not go up the same. Obviously, that if it's something made out of China, because China, how you doing, Ken? Because China hits us the hardest with tariffs. Of course, when we're going to tariff theirs at a higher rate, so theirs is going to probably go up more than anybody's. But you could look at anybody's cars, and you'll see how much percentage wise are the parts made in China, Mexico, and these different countries, and in America. And it's still a very small amount of the parts, even for like Ford F-150s and the Chevys, even the American-made cars. But does that mean it would go up as more as like a car from China, or one of these countries that are going to have higher tariffs? No. But I do think that it's going to be less of a supply. I think less people will go and buy cars, because if they're at a higher price, they may have to wait it out. And so when that goes into effect, the prices are going to start to move up. And so it's just interesting, really interesting to see what's going to happen, because we've never been through anything like this. And usually it's a trade war or a system back and forth where we're sanctioning, financial sanctioning, and these things, like, to get to the negotiating table with one country, right? This is we're up against 60 countries are doing this. But from hearing Catherine Levitt spoke, um, and I'll tell you, she's amazing. I think she's 26 years old. She has a 1 year old, and to be the press secretary in this climate, that's impressive. And for her age, amazing. And but listening to her speak on what's happening, you have to realize that, again, we never went through this. Even that Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, was saying, because the fear mongering mainstream media just wants to, bash it because it's Trump doing it, right? So they want to make it so it's the worst thing possible. And listen, it may be. I'm not arguing for or against it. I'm for being reciprocal. And if you're going to tariff us, we are going to tariff you. And if you want to go and be a baby about it and then go higher, then we'll go higher. And that's it. But, another good idea is, if we're going to be reciprocal, right? 20%, 20%, say, why don't we just drop the tariffs altogether and go 0-0, right? Why not? But we don't know what's on the table. We don't know how the tariffs are going to react. The markets are down, but every year and a half, 2 years, we get a 20% sell-off in the market and correction. And so here it is. It just so happens that we have tariffs that are in place. But just an economic forecast before I get into the show is, construction is surging, and we have 228,000 new jobs have been added, which is a sign of very strong momentum in the marketplace. New construction is really on fire right now. That's a good thing. That's we're building, which that's great. That's always a sign of growth. And what I like is, combined, we have 5 trillion in trade, which is going to be just massive. So, and the fight, it's not just with trade. There's 1.5 in private investment, and investment from outside countries coming in. So, which is, again, that's $1 trillion number. That's huge, right? And then it gets to when you combine that with trade deals that are going on, it brings it to netting out a 5 trillion surplus, right, or positive cash flow for America. And that's a great thing, right? And then if you have all that investment coming in, and then if you mix into that government projects, right, and that's going to be a flow through a mix of private capital, government projects, global funds reshaping America's industrial base, and what have you, then you're looking at up to a $15 to $20 trillion investment into America to help with our to just really fuel up our economic engine, and bring us back with a good dose. Talk about a good vaccine. That's a healthy dose of it, right? And then also we have, now there's much more going on. This is just what I chose, what I picked out, because I think that with all the fear mongering and the market coming down and correcting a little bit, I think it's being a little bit, it's disingenuous for how the media is presenting it. But there's also a new tax bill that if it passes Congress, and it better since the Republicans own it, that's Americans across income levels could see lower tax burdens, especially small businesses and working class families, which is what we want. And you know what? As much as they use it as more of a cudgel to hit. Hey, thanks, babes, from Facebook. Everyone on Facebook, hello, if you're watching on Facebook. And as much as they want to use it as a cudgel to kind of knock President Trump over the head about lowering taxes for the big companies or for billionaires, you have to realize that when you take regulation away and give them tax incentive to stay in the country, to expand in our country, to pay more, when they were getting the checks during COVID, everyone who made under 100,000 would get an extra $1,000 on their paycheck. I know Bank of America did that with some of the employees when I was there. That all the ones that did under, that made 100,000 or less. So, when you look at that, you give big companies a chance to really take care of their employees, expand, hire more, give better bonus packages out, better insurances, better child care for single moms, whatever it may be. So, there's a downstream effect to that. Besides, if you're working class, if you're, a small business that is just kind of making it on a shoestring budget, and you have a lower tax burden. Uh, it just it opens everything up. So the downstream effects of what's happening, we don't know yet, and to jump to a conclusion on either side isn't the best thing to do, because you want to look at it objectively and let it play out. My opinion is, I think, just like back when, and I think it was in like the 1880s when they had the Tariff Commission. I'm not a historian, so but it was so in the 1880s, and I think Roosevelt is the president that was the beneficiary of a massive amount of tariff wealth, that he got to say, this goes here, this goes there, this goes there, and whatever he did, he did with it. But um, you know, we're at a place now where the money coming in now is going to probably dwarf what that was. And so if it works similar, because they're saying Catherine Levitt, or Catherine Levitt, the press secretary, said that, I think she said something like 40 or 60 countries are have been calling and trying to get set up with a meeting to negotiate this tariff deal. So we're already seeing it, right? We're already seeing countries coming to the table, and we have a couple of ones out. We have a couple of stragglers out there, and of course you're going to have China. They want to make. They said that if we tariff them reciprocally, so we have the same, they're going to add another 50% and bring us to an 84% tariff from 34%. And so, which to me is crazy. That's not retaliatory. That's abusive tariffs again, right? They're abusing the tariff system again, and they got the wrong president in there, right? It's not someone who don't know what think the bushes of the front lawn are the way into the White House. That's not who you're dealing with. Trump is love him or hate him, he is a resilient guy after everything they put him through, and he's still standing. He's one of the few presidents that look like he didn't age, which is odd. He really looks like he's aging normally, and usually the stress of the job gets to everybody. But they got the wrong one, because that guy's got a spine of steel, and he will not back off, and he is not going to let somebody bully him. So, and I fully think that when he said, why do we need an income tax, so the American taxpayers, the Americans, have to enrich other countries and of course corrupt politicians? Why don't we have no tax and let the tariffs do their thing, and we have other countries, foreign countries, enhance and let the American people profit from that? And you know what the crazy thing is? When he said that, I looked at it and go, I never even thought of that, because I didn't even think it was possible. We are so ingrained in this programming that we're always given money, and we're always helping. And as soon as something happens, America steps up, which is billions of dollars all over the place. Nothing ever comes back. America's we were on our heels, and we were in a fragile place. We're still in a fragile place, but looks like we're gaining momentum. But what countries have stepped up to do shit for us? Nobody. You know what I mean? It's nobody. So, I look at it, and I'm excited for the future. So that's the snapshot. And so I'm just going to go into with today what I wanted to talk about. So you guys know I'm playing pickleball, and so I guess I named the episode "Energy, Economics, and Intent," right? And I wanted to kind of mesh the two, because I feel like sometimes, hey, Lori, how are you? This These trade deals. This is military. These trade deals are reciprocal. The taxes that you see are what America is paying till import from them. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, Lori. That's very good. Thank you for that. So, and Lori, do you understand why anybody would be against having reciprocal, tariffs? And then if so, if the tariffs are what's causing the big uproar, right? And causing, if it was going to be 20% tariff here and 20% in country B, 20% in country A, why can't we just do 0% tariff and 0% tariff? That's also reciprocal, and we do away with this back and forth BS. America pays for their imports. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking. That's why I was saying a little earlier. I think right before you got on is, to we have to see how everything shakes out, because this is literally just starting. There's stuff that is happening just taking place today, or midnight tonight, midnight last night. So we have to see really what the impact is going to be. So and I'm sure we will see soon enough. But don't let the fear mongering with the markets correcting. That happens every 18, 20 months. You're going to get you get a 20% correction in the markets. Does it have something to do with the tariffs? I guess it could have a little bit, but it happened. It always happened. It corrects. Since I've been since the early '90s. That's what you've seen. Very rarely are we going on a run of like 5 years of it just going straight up. It don't people take profits and institutions take profits. So um, yeah, that's true. Lack of knowledge. And the people with the lack of knowledge, it's only because you're choosing to stay ignorant, in my opinion, because there's so much information out there right now that really we all can sound like you can sound like an expert in most anything. Right? Especially now with AI or with whatever that's out there. I mean, there's some wild shit out there. There's no reason not to know, but that's fine, because you can always look and find. People, we get busy in life. We're in the prior 3 days. I worked like 45 hours in 3 days, so I was shot. I didn't. I wouldn't look up anything. You know what I mean? So I get it at that point. But all I'm saying is watch who you're listening to, and don't let fear mongering get you. And I'll just leave it there, because I don't want to get upset and start cursing. No, I'm only kidding. No, but just leave. You watch who you're getting your information from, and don't let the fear seep in with that, because it's just not worth it. So, just to kind of bring it down, and we will jump back in, Lori, with that. And Wall Street is trying to take their funnel. Anyway. Well, yeah, Lisa, I think so too. When it puts it like that, it makes me laugh, because it makes me think of like spank. You get like they're gonna spank them, like they're punishing Trump. It's the stupidest thing. It's like they don't mind hurting just like what's it, Tim Walz, right? Tampon Tim in Minnesota, in the actual government pension fund, they have Tesla, and he said he wakes up in the morning, and when he saw Tesla's stock down, it made him happy. He was very happy that the stock went down, when all the government, where everything in the pension, everyone who's part of that pension is taking a hit because Tesla went down, and he just like they don't, it's just they're ridiculous. So to punish Trump, you're hurting Main Street, but they're looking to turn Main Street against them. But like I said, it happens all the time, and they'll use any tool at their disposal. And you're right, yeah, it's not going to work. And I'll tell you, they also you have to realize the market was being propped up by trillions of dollars being printed and injected in the market. And I know even all the money that was printed and sent to the UK for them to invest in our markets, to look like it was other countries were buying up our treasuries, like the dollar was strong. Like we don't know that we were paying 5 times the amount for eggs and butter and everything else, right? It's like it's a crazy. It's just crazy. So, and I agree, Lori. It had to be done without a doubt. It has to be done, and he's the only president with the guts to actually take on as it's a global issue. And we've never done this with 60 countries. This is wild. This is a behemoth of a. This is just a behemoth of a negotiation that he's trying to pull off. And he has to do that now because you don't know what happens in the midterms, right? You don't know if we still have the Congress or the Senate because people are stupid, some people out there, and they want to believe the media because, they felt like they may have been pushed not to vote in the last election and are looking for any little thing to make them feel okay, right? So then they can vote in some local schmuck who is going to start to go against what we really need. So Trump does need to work fast, and that's why I think he's moving this quickly. He has to, because some of the major, bills, some of the major legislation, and these negotiations have to be done, at a quick time frame. So, nobody takes the fiat dollar from us. Yeah. And you know what? Even when they took Russia off the SWIFT system, Russia was just like, okay, we're going to back our ruble with gold, and we're going to buy oil from Saudi Arabia in the ruble that's backed by gold, and they just left the dollar out, right? They're not supposed to do that, but that's what happened, and it's only because the dollar was in a weakened state, and they could have did it, and so they did it. And when the dollar is weak, you can't use it. It's not such a big cudgel anymore to go hit someone over the head with and sanction them, right? So, touche to Russia for doing that. But that's that. To sidebar into crypto that's why XRP, right? It looks really good because if we go digital, we don't want to have a CBDC, but we want the Ripple platform in there. We want XRP as the government institutional way to send money. And then we have XLM for the peer-to-peer to send money. And then you have, your Sologenic and Corium, where they're putting Corium is even faster than XRP. And Sologenic, you can actually have hard assets like gold and probably real estate, but you can literally have your gold on it and send your gold to another country in 4 seconds. But you could be your own brokerage. So, being your own bank, your own brokerage. And so that's where it would be nice to go. I was just told, though, by one of my contacts who called me, and he sends me stuff on this encrypted platform. Anyway, he was saying that the switch is the switch is flipped, and this month we will the banks are all going they're all ISO compliant. The Basel III and that ISO, they're all compliant now and flipping over to this new system, this QFS system, the quantum system, where we're backed by gold. We're on the gold standard. So I hope that's true. And came aboard on gold back here international trade. We used to military to take care of Saudi Arabia. Trump saved that king in Las Vegas. Then he came on board to go back for international trade. Okay. Yeah, and if we can do that, being gold, gold back, you have to realize that almost by itself takes out. Well, fraud will always be there if you have corrupt people, but it will minimize it to virtually nothing. And because it will minimize it, because you just can't keep reprinting gold like you can just paper. And if you don't have the gold to back it, then it's not good, right? So if you're gold backed, you're going to have enough dollars for the gold, and that's it. And so that's going to really curtail any of the corruption that we've seen. And so I'm just going to regress here for a second, and I'll jump back into XLM there, Ken. So really quick, when you get into with these discussions and stuff, I was thinking about it, and the reason why I wanted to put in one, I'm always gonna end with manifestation and different things about manifestation, because we all have to get better and better and quicker in manifesting it, and literally fully 100% committing to it, and realizing that we are manifesting beings. We co-create our existence. That's happening. Whether you believe it or not, it believes in you, because if you don't believe in it and you're vibrating at all different and you're bouncing all over, you're happy one day, it's raining out, you're sad, then it's, someone cuts you off and you're mad for 3 hours, and then you're happy for another hour, right? Whatever it may be. And you're bouncing up and down. You're just letting the universe choose what outcomes, right, are going to be coming down the pike. But if you can stay in control and stay at the high vibe and realize what's happening, I think you'll co-create in a positive way, or at least 90% of the time, or stay at neutral and then get back into being positive. But don't get it twisted. If you think you're not creating, just because you're not creating abundance or you're not manifesting abundance, you're manifesting what you're doing. So if you're having some bad times in your life, if you're going through some bad or some choppy times and having some challenges, make no mistake, that's what you're manifesting. And so that's what you got to start to get in order. So I always end on that. But why I put the pickleball in there is because I think we need to lighten up, and we talk about some heavy subjects, and some are very profound, like Lisa's, my wife Lisa, her last podcast, and her last actually 2 podcasts that she does by herself, and the content coming up for the next one. I mean, it's very deep, it's profound. She just does it in a very understandable and palatable way, but it's it's a lot of heavy information that's out there, and stuff that's happening with exposure and everything that's been going on. So pickleball, lighten up, folks. Let's talk pickleball. I don't know if you guys play sports or you like to play sports, but I played sports my whole life, and I wear it. There was, my knee replacements on both knees, right? A cervical fusion, my elbow swollen every time I play, my shoulders, and every joint has an issue. All right, but I play almost every day, and so a quick update. I'm at the point now. I happened to go there one day, and I lucked out, and happened to be a lady there who actually gives lessons, and nobody showed up because it was windy. So I was hitting the ball right with it, and she started to put me through some paces. And even though I'm only playing for a couple months, and I should be a beginner, I'm at the advanced beginner already. She's on a 3.5. So I said, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay, I'm a 3.5. So what I realized is when I play, someone serves to me, I was trying to get my return where I'm hitting a really hard return to get back to me, right? I know, Ken, I have no business in the kitchen, and Lisa will tell you that. No business in the kitchen. But I get in trouble now for hitting when I serve and someone hits the ball back, I hit it on the fly because I'm always rushing, I'm always aggressive to the net. So that's my next thing that I got to stop doing. But no, but I wanted to hit a good overhand return. But what I'm doing is I'm hitting with the paddle facing the floor and I'm trying to come up on it to put topspin. But that's only because I don't fully have confidence if I swing sideways and brush up and come over the top, that it's going to go over the net. And I want to keep the ball in play to give us a chance to win the point or win back the serve. So I realized that even in pickleball, which is fun, we're not playing for money. It's just, we're all out having some fun. I realized that, lack or fear, not fear of being scared, but fear of not having the confidence that I'm going to hit a shot that I need to hit. And so where your focus goes, your energy flows, right? And so this is going to tie into the rest of the show, because it works in every aspect of life. But even in pickleball, when you keep it light, if you're focusing on how you're hitting because you're hitting the wrong way, or you're telling yourself, don't hit the net, don't hit the net, don't hit the net, don't hit the net, right? If you keep saying that, your subconscious does not know you're saying you don't want to hit the net. Your subconscious only hears hit the net, hit the net, hit the net, right? That's why when you tell a kid, see this glass of milk, don't spill it. You better not spill the milk, Johnny. Don't spill the milk. You always spill the milk. Don't spill the milk. And what happens? Spills the milk. right? Because that's in it. That's what you're doing. That's what you're putting in that kid's head, and that's what he starts thinking, right? Because if I tell you don't think of a pink elephant, you probably still have the image of a pink elephant in your head, right? Because the subconscious don't know any better. It just knows what you're saying, but it takes it like, I don't want bills. I don't want bills. You're negative. Your subconscious hears, I want bills. I want bills. Right. So you got to talk about what you do want. Right. So today I went and I did a little different, and I just said, I'm just gonna swing away and go for it. Like I play every sport I play. Right. I'm not gonna be hesitant. And in my head, I actually still right now, I can envision my switch step when I'm getting served to get ready, and then where my racket's going, and how I'm brushing up, and how the ball's just going perfect, just over the net, and then really boom, going down because I have topspin on it. And I tell you, I hit a couple out on the side, but I probably 70% of the ones I hit were on massive angles, just making it over the net, and then falling like a rock because of the topspin on it. And this was the first week I did it, and I played with a couple of guys that are really good, and I was giving them a challenge, and they were talking about, it. So, say, hey, great, that was a great shot, but where your focus goes, your energy will flow. And I'm telling you, I envisioned it in my head what I was going to do. I was thinking about it the whole way there, and I saw myself the way I hit, where I'm hitting it from, how I'm hitting it, even the congratulations, the hitting paddles to congratulate partners. The whole thing, the people going like, good shot. Oh, and the little, I mean, I really was, I have a very kind of where I can see things through my, I can really picture it in my head. And so anyway, that's something big. Anything you're doing, whether it's pickleball, whatever you do, bowling, darts, this, that, where your focus goes, your energy will flow. And what do you want to do? What do you want to attain? Not what you don't want to happen. Very important. And so the mindset tip is really, visualization is very underrated. I don't know if you guys ever saw the video out. I saw it. I thought it was incredible. The Blue Angels, the guy, they fly the planes, they do the air shows, and they're going like, I don't know, 800 miles an hour, 1,000 miles an hour, and they're flying like a foot apart from each other, right? And they're doing these moves in the air. Well, there's a video out showing what they do prior. You know what they do prior? They sit in the room. The guy who is there, I guess the lead guy who does the instructions, he makes like he's talking on a microphone, and they're all sitting. They all have their eyes closed, and he's saying, and it almost sounds like they're on that. Oh, and I'm talking to you, we're going to bank left. We're going to bank left at 30 miles an hour. And as he's doing it, he goes, and bank right. And they all go like this. Although I just went left, so I would crash into one of them. So, but this is them. They're like accelerated dudes, right? And bank left, and they all went like this. Straight, bank right. And you see them all doing it in unison, envisioning how their whole show, everything is going to go. And they're going at amazing speeds in the air, very close together, doing very dramatic moves and dynamic movements. And they're not crashing, none of that, because no doubt could creep in. None of them can have the thought in their head, I don't want to crash. I don't want to crash. They cannot do that. They all envision success. They did the whole thing all the way till the end with their eyes closed, envisioning it at the end and slapping 5 because they had a successful run. And they were sitting in a conference room, and the Blue Angels do it. I thought that was really interesting. And so what if we did that in our everyday lives with what we did? What if we envisioned when we went to work, whatever it was, you sell bottles of water. If you envision selling more cases of water, then you could even see you just sold pallets, and everyone congratulating you, and the bonuses, and the people coming to visit because you did good to give you recognition, and you felt that that pride at doing a great job and doing really good, right? And selling and making money, knowing when you go home, you could tell your wife or your husband, you know what, honey, I sold the pot of water. I can't believe it. No one's done that before. I didn't. It wasn't a waste of a day, right? I did. Today was a good day, and you could come home and you could tell your spouse, which is gives you all the pleasure in the world if you do that. I love telling Lisa if I do something good. I hate when if I don't get nothing done the way I need to. I hate that because I want to come home and tell her because I'm proud. I want her to be proud, right? And so feeling that pride that you did that for yourself, but also your family, and you did something that no one else could do, and you're moving in that direction. Momentum is building positivity. I'm telling you, it's a game changer, guys. So, last thing is, do you treat practice as the game or a grind? How do you treat practice? Because those who practice like they play, those are the ones who go from good to great and from great to the GOAT. That's the one thing that they all have in common that are looking at GOAT status is not only are they already good or great at what they do, but they treat practice, and you can hear their teammates talk about it. They treat practice like it's the damn game, and some of the teammates just don't understand that. So, when you look at it, um, you know, and that's all of them from Kobe to Michael Jordan to Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky back in my day. But when you look at it, that's what sets them apart. And and the Blue Angels, they're the best at what they do. And look at their practice. They literally sit at a table and they do that for hours, and they're envisioning that. So anyway, that's my spiel for that. But how it ties in. So has everybody heard or know what inflation linked investments are? Or that with probably TIPS, TIPS for Treasury Inflationary Protection Security. And so what that is it's with inflation where it's at, you want to make sure you're at least pacing inflation, right? Because what's happening is you have you have inflation going up, and if you're making John, new moon energy helps shore in what you desire to manifest between moon cycles. Ask Lisa. Yeah, no, I got a cheat code with Lisa at home. So yeah, she's we talk about that, but she's always trying to improve. So can I tell you, she just don't sit on her laurels. She's like, even though she's really good at that part of it, she's got a lot of parts of it, but the meditation and stuff, she's always looking for different things to accelerate her meditation and growth so she can turn around and share it with everybody. And so I'm privy to the conversations because we talk about it, which is nice. It's great to have that here. So, but yeah, no doubt. So when you're to get it to kind of move into the investment realm here, so at the very least, you want to have inflationary protection items, right? So if inflation moves up, the percentage in that investment will move up. That's like a bare bones minimum on what you want, right? If you're looking to invest to be, any type of substantive investment, right? So you want it to be something that's at least going to pace inflation because, we have people in CDs that are at, a 2.5% CD, 3% CD. Just with inflation, they're already taking a loss, and then they got to pay tax on it, right? So you want to make sure the instruments out there that can offer a higher rate. So when you adjust for inflation, taxes, you can still either break even at the very, very least, or you're making money. So when you look at the treasuries, the treasuries are going to give you a low interest rate, but at least get ones that'll adjust for inflation. And then you have, there's the other bonds. I don't like too much either. Is the I bonds, but you have real estate can help with that, right? So if real estate's going good, you have positive cash flows coming in. That's fine, right? Although we all know that if you own a home, it's not always a cash cow, right? It can be a big draw on your wallet when the AC goes, when the water heater goes, or when leaks or whatever, what have you, what whatever you have to do, or refurbishing, whatever it may be. So real estate is a great item, is a great investment, but you don't want to be heavily weighted in one area unless you're a true real estate. You're like I don't know, a Grant Cardone, where you're like real estate is your thing, right? And that then I guess that's not as much of a risk, but I think being heavily weighted in anything, no matter what you do, is really not great. Uh, Dividend paying stocks, that's great, right? So you have stocks, if they're not moving, the market's moving down a little bit, pay yourself with a dividend. So look for the better dividend paying stocks, so you can at least maybe pace inflation. And also, you can, this is not investment advice, yes, at all. Or you can go, there's more advanced techniques, like you can use the Greeks, like, GREEKS, the Greeks, right? The delta, the delta, alpha, beta. You can use that when it comes to options, and trade options. So if you have a stock that's not moving, you can sell options, and because they're not moving, they'll expire worthless, and you keep the premium, so you're at least generating some money, right? And so there are ways you can do that. But what I wanted to talk about is there are also different investments that you can look at and do your own research. And yes, they're not investment advice, but there's indexed annuities, right? That if when the markets move up, you're capped out at, let's say, 12 or 14%, and usually it's when you're going to be invested in one of the indices, right? Like the S&P, the Dow, the Nasdaq. Sometimes they'll even have the Nikkei, or the different foreign stock exchanges as well. But let's say you're in the S&P, and the S&P did 20%, you only make 12%, right? And so that's fine. You're definitely pacing inflation. But the good thing about the indexed annuities, right, would be if the markets take a hit and it's your 1 year anniversary comes up, right? So that's the mark, and it's down 12%. You don't lose anything. So you made 12%. Now the markets came down. You stay right here. The S&P goes up again 10%. You'll make 10%. The S&P goes up 30%. You make 12%. The S&P loses 50%. You stay right there. So it's a great way to protect yourself. I think it's not a hedge against inflation, but it does give you security in your investment that you'll keep leveling up and you won't level down. And over a certain amount of time, I think it's 3 years, if you're not making a positive gain, at least and some of them are 3%, some are 2%, of at least that in your annuity, you at least make that. So, and then of course they grow tax deferred, and they have probate implications. If you don't have a trust, they pass to your heirs and avoid probate, stuff like that. So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is, of course, the index universal life insurance policies are great. If you build up a cash value, you can take out tax-free loans when you're paying, if you're taking a loan on it, or use your cash value for whatever you need, if God forbid a medical or whatever. You can add riders to it, but as that's growing, because there's investments inside it, it does the same thing where it keeps leveling up. God forbid you pass away, your family gets the death benefit plus the cash value. But when you're alive, as that cash value continues to grow, you have a free pot of money there that you can actually take a loan out on instead of withdrawing, and it comes out. You don't have to, there's no tax paid on it, and you just repay the loan through the policy. So that's another way to go. And the last thing I'll say is, again, with crypto, one of the ones that Jason and I speak about is Corium, 25% compounded yearly, very, very little risk in the yield farming in the liquidity pool. So really good with those are, like, I would say, probably the three best. I like the way the annuity and the life insurance work on the index side. as well as the way the crypto, what Corium is doing. And there's a ton of cryptos you could make money with, but we know that Corium is with the Ripple platform, and there's little risk for a pretty good gain. And so you got to look at it. The reason why I think that's a hedge is because the stock market's falling now, right? It's correcting again. So let's say it corrects its normal 20% within the last 18 months. It's going to have its normal correction of 20%, but you have Corium and you're making 28%, right? You own physical gold, which is the absolute number one hedge against dollar weakening. That's the physical gold has always been known for that. So you have your Corium that you're doing 25% compounded. So it really comes out to, if you really maximize it, it's 28% a year. And then you have gold that, as the dollar weakened, almost doubled in value again. So it's over 3,000 now. Is that like 1,650? Not last November that just passed, the one before that. So when you look at those two, those are great hedges against inflation. So when you set yourself up like that, and where energy comes into it, and why I wanted to make it part of the, kind of the show today, and not just talk about doing investments, because if you're in you're not in the right frequency, if you're not in the right mindset, right? If you're not focusing on things you should be focusing on, and you're distracted, and this comes with all of us. Lisa will tell you, I distract myself continuously. Not sure what it's about. I guess I need to go sit on someone's couch, but she'll tell me all the time, stop distracting yourself. Just sit quiet with yourself, which I do. I try to do. Rough for me though, because my mind is like, but it seems like it's blank, but it's just moving. I don't know. But yeah, if you're in the right mindset, and you're focusing on the right things, on how to protect yourself, you're not so worried about, oh, I don't have a big enough amount of money to do this or invest in that. And, but you have the mindset of, I just need to pay myself first, right? And at this point, the timing of today, I can do this, right? This is the plan, and you stick to the plan, and you have the discipline to stick to it. And so when you do that, you can start buying, you can buy, bullion, gold bullion, right? You get as close to spot price as possible. And you can start buying small chunks of it, maybe. Is it expensive? Yes. So maybe you have to buy fractional pieces. Maybe you start buying quarter ounce pieces, right? Don't go to a tenth, because the premium on the tenth of an ounce is too high. You go quarter ounces was the sweet spot, where you're pretty close to if you bought an ounce, but at least you're buying fractional gold. Silver, of course, in there too, right? But with Corium, with XRP, with the crypto, I always talk about dollar cost averaging, DCA. Whatever you can do every paycheck, be consistent with the dollar amount, be consistent with the timing. Every 2 weeks you get paid. Every 2 weeks you put $50 into Corium or whatever you're looking to do, and you're doing it all the time. As it goes up, as it goes down, you're buying a little less of it, you're buying a little more of it, creating a nice cost average. But the whole thing is, every time you do that, no matter how little it is, you have a good feeling inside, because you're making decisions that are going to benefit you in the future. And I think what we do sometimes is we get flipped with small decisions we make throughout the day, which end up being a very large pain in my ass, or your ass, at the end of the day, because a lot of little decisions made flippantly, not giving them the time to think them through and say, is this decision going to is this going to be positive, a positive factor, like a force multiplier in my life and my family's life? Or is it going to be, flat status quo? Or is it could it cause a problem where now it's going to cost money? Now it's going to be a net drag on me. And, I guess it could be exhausting to think like that, but even the little decisions, all these little momentums are so important, because the little momentums turn into a big momentum. That's a tidal wave of momentum. Then you don't start at a tidal wave. It's got to start small, into a tidal wave, into a tsunami, right? So those little decisions, you start to feel a certain way. You're invested. When people say, hey, did you see XRP went up, Corium went up, gold went up, even if you only have, you did it say 5 times and you have 1 ounce only, right? Because you're able to buy a quarter-ounce coin at once a week for a month, you still have 1 ounce of gold. You're still participating in that. That's still giving you, that's still raising your vibe up, because you know what doesn't raise your vibe? When you tell people, oh, congratulations, you made money with gold, and you turn around, when you walk away, you have a knot in your stomach because you're like, I didn't do it. I didn't buy it. Instead of doing that, what I did was I bought a scratch off to see if I could win 1,000 a week, right? That's what I decided to do, right? Or I went to go play the poker machine, or whatever we throw our money away on these days, right? So if you can keep discipline, which is why I always say I'm a huge proponent of discipline, not so much motivation. Motivation wanes. Motivation can wane from, if you have back pain, to the weather outside, to the market taking a hit, to anything. Motivation can get knocked away. Just not feeling good, whatever it may be, right? But if you can build discipline, then motivation really doesn't matter much. It's nice to have it, but it doesn't matter much, because if you don't feel good, you still go to the gym, right? If you feel good, you go to the gym. If when it comes to work, you don't feel good, you still make the calls you need to make. You still do the things you need to do every day, even though you don't feel good, even though your allergies are attacking you, your back hurts, your back is out, your ass hurts, your elbow hurts, it's windy out, all the excuses. It doesn't matter, because nothing changes the fact that at the end of the day, I need to make 100 calls to talk to 10 people to get 5 good presentations off, to have 2 sales, whatever your numbers may be. And if you don't hit those numbers, you're not gonna build your pipeline. You're not gonna continue. When you get home, your motivation is gonna feel even more shitty, because you didn't do what you needed to do. So you're not gonna be better today than you were yesterday, and you're sure ain't gonna be better tomorrow, because you didn't build your pipeline for tomorrow than you were today. So now you're behind the 8 ball, right? And then when you're on the phone, you're talking with desperation in your voice, because you're behind the 8 ball. Your manager's yelling at you because you didn't hit the phone calls you needed to hit. You got to go back home, tell your wife you did shit today, and it just goes on, and your frequency continues to go. So discipline and your focus is the words of the day, if I may say. Horses eat hay. No, I'm only kidding. I had to rhyme it. But so that's important. And so getting those little, doing those little things, I'm telling you, is very, very important. Yeah, I know with Iraq, and Iraq has to make that announcement. That's what a contact of mine was telling me. There's an announcement that Iraq is going to be making with going gold, gold back. And once they make that announcement, and they're fully in, I forgot how he put it, but yeah, once he does that, it looks like it's going to move. So thanks for saying that, Laura. Yeah, that's very, very true. I heard that too. So I don't know. I hope it's true, because I'd love to see everything start to move. So when you look at the investment strategies and what you're doing, again, focus on what you want to attain, not what you don't want. I don't want to lose money. None of that stuff. All right. And so what's happening is, silently, the cash it's like an invisible hand reaching in your pocket, right? Taking a little money out at a time. That's inflation. So your portfolio should be positioned to counteract CPI, right? Consumer price index, that's inflation. PPI, producer price index, is the inflation or deflation that the people who produce the products are going to pay. So if you see the PPI number up, CPI is going up, because they're going to charge us more, because it's costing them more, right? So you want it, that's the number you'll be looking at. And every month it's done. I think it's done by like the 4th or 5th, by every month it's out. So now, I don't know if anyone's heard with the Bitcoin reserves in the different states, but I look at it like it's a hedge against political or federal mismanagement with Bitcoin, because being decentralized, it's not something that someone, like again, like they're printing money saying they're using it for, they want to help, crossing guards in Belize, right? And they pocket some of the money. It's crypto. Wherever it goes, we're going to know where it goes. Hey, Steph, everyone, they're going to know where it's going, and there's going to have to be some type of accounting with it. And so every time a transfer goes out, like a wire transfer, there's going to be a tracking on it. So they'll see exactly where it went, what address it went to. Then they could always track where it went from there. It's not just like it just cash that, 10 billion go, and it's like, oh shit, we don't know what happened to 5 billion of it. Oh, well, next, right? That can't happen. So, something to think about. But you want to make sure that when you have these coming up, if they're coming up in your state, make sure that you are writing your representatives to get these things passed, get them in. Work with the president. This guy is working at a super fast pace, and he can only work as fast as a pace as we can get this stuff through Congress. And what we can do is make sure we vote the right way, but also write your congressman, write your representatives, your state representatives. They got to do it. They have to do it. Get them the hell out. Get out. Go do something else. And that's it. And so Oklahoma right now, there is some detail on Oklahoma moving towards the Bitcoin reserve. And now Missouri is exploring the options too, and so was Ohio the last time we spoke about this. So, what do you guys think about the reserves? You think that it's a good thing with the reserves, or what? I think it's a good thing. So let me know what you think with that, and I will jump back in. Yeah, Annette's here. Suppose this, yeah, let's see. Hey, Steph, it's true. Plus, he's gotten skilled at making AI movie videos from our old pictures. AI, you can do a lot of the good stuff with AI. I love that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is so Trump's push for a domestic technology and energy. So, one of the quotes he made, and I thought it was, I just thought it was the most amazing thing because it's true. We make decisions. Our government and the administration that was in makes decisions, and then says it's his fault that like we're in this position. So it's like he gives you a glass of water and then pokes a hole in the bottom of the cup. He gives you the cup. The water goes on your pants, and you're like, my pants got wet. And he goes, it's his fault. And we don't know why it happened, but we need another $2 billion to fix your cup or the rest of the cup so the water don't do that. Instead of saying, I just got to stop poking holes in it, right? It's like this crazy thing that keeps happening. And so Trump said, no more begging foreign nations for medicine or microchips. And I know, Laura, you said your husband worked in the microchip industry, if I remember correctly. And so, very important for our technology, but also our medication. As we go through these times, if we were manufacturing our own medications, right, and we had our own microchips for cars, for computers, smartphones, what have you, then that takes more negotiating power away from foreign countries that we have to get it from, right? Because there has to be some type of reservation going like, well, what if they shut down and just say, we're not going to make no more prescriptions. So anybody who has diabetes, they're going to die. You like that, right? If they're going to play hardball, who knows? We don't know what they're going to do. But that's why I think this is so important that, we stopped our oil production, right? As soon as Biden got in, he stopped the pipelines and everything, went through our strategic reserves. And then his next thing to do was to go back Saudi Arabia if they can sell us some oil. So we had the oil, we went through all of ours, even our strategic reserves, and now we're paying money and begging someone to get us oil. And they're saying, nope, we did. That's still all the production we're going to do. and until they decided that they were going to do it, right, and get us some oil. I mean, how crazy! So if we can get our energy back on point, and if we can get pharma where they're not trying to delete everybody or work with people who are trying to delete us, and we have actually, I don't know, maybe natural products made from natural shit that don't have side effects. That, it's like, this product is amazing. It helps with cancer. It helps get your eyesight back. Be careful because you'll have anal leakage and you can get strokes and 90% chance of liver failure. But don't worry, it'll fix your eyesight. It's like it's freaky, it's crazy. So, but if we can fix it where there's roots and plants and oils and everything else that's out in nature that very, very potent. The xanthones from the mangosteen fruit, you know, go on and on and on, that have medicinal and were used medicinally for a long time, probably centuries, if not millennia, and through Ayurvedic medicine, right? That's been around for 5,000 years or so. They've all used this stuff very effectively. We only went off that. Obviously, we all know the story with the medical schools and the books and getting off of the, traditional medication, all of a sudden becoming pills that pharma made and stuff. So Trump getting a handle on that, I don't see. Again, I don't know why there'd be any opposition to it other than it's just Trump doing it. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want domestic technology? So we have computers, car for the car computer, home computers, phones, all that stuff. Why wouldn't we want that? Makes no sense. As well as the energy, right? So it's just that's, I think, the way to go. And think of all the jobs that come back to America, good paying jobs that'll come back to America, and these cities that have gone ghost because the mill has gone, right? The mill is gone. The and everything else that ran that town, that provided revenue for that town, is gone. So people are moving out. There's no one there. No big stores there anymore. No, all of a sudden, these factories start getting built there, putting 20,000 people to work. Intel. Yeah, right. I remember you saying that because talk about the microchips, the Pentium. We were talking about the Pentium microchip was in the Intel computer. So I think Trump is right on with the domestic tech and energy. And again, it's not that everything he does I rub a stamp, or I will rub a stamp. Although I love what he's done, and I think he's doing a great job. And it's nice to have a president that is respected and has a pair of balls to go out there and do what he's got to do. I hate to be crude, but it's the only way to put it because that's just what's happening. So, but when you look at the energy angle, so we'll have renewables plus fossil fuel independence. So that's a good kind of hybrid strategy. The tech side, you have AI, semiconductors, crypto, and infrastructure building, unbelievably good. And then you have auto, pharma, and frontline. So when you have the policies to incentivize reshoring through tax incentives and import penalties. So, if anybody is going outside the country to then try to sell back in, or they're looking to move their factory out, they're going to be getting penalties. But also, if they're already been outside the country because the last administration rolled the red tape, to repatriate them back to America, incentivize them to come back, give them tax incentives to come back, get a $20 million plant built here, get Americans working, get an injection into our economy. So if we can reshore some of those companies that built out of the country, that's amazing. So that would be amazing to do and amazing to have. So yeah, exactly, Laura. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Annette. There was so many towns are going to start to be revitalized. And if you look at Detroit got decimated when the auto industry started to get hit, and they were starting to move. I forgot which car company it was when Trump's first term, but they were gonna move the plant to Mexico, and Trump goes, "Oh, okay, you could, but this is the tax you're getting on the way out. This is what the fee is to get out. And when you think you're gonna sell back into America, we're going to have a 50% tariff on it. So have fun. Have fun doing it. If you stay, you'll get this incentive. So you'll get this much money in incentive, and you'll get, whatever else he sweetened the pot with. And you know what? It's not that he's taking care of his billionaire friends. He was taking care of the workers in that town on a real level, real time, telling us that these guys were looking to move out for their bottom line, destroying an industry, the auto industry, which we have dominated, right? Detroit is the auto. I mean, that was it. Decimated it. And when they were looking to move out, he made them stay, not by force. You can go. God bless. I wish you all the luck in the world. This is what's happening, though. So I'll let you be you, right? Let Them Be by Mel Brooks. I don't know if anyone, Mel, I found her last name, the lady, Mel something. Really good, though. I can't, her last name is, does anyone know who she is? Mel something. Mel, is that Brooks? Late, she had blonde hair, Dr. Mel something. She just wrote a book, Let Them Be. And you got to let them be, but then you also have the decision to be you, and you have options. So what options do you want? You let them move out, but the options are, yes, you're going to move out, but the fee for moving out is this, and when you want to sell your product back, this is what the tariff's going to be, baby. And that, let me be me, right? So, and I think that's a great way to do it. So I think he's on point there. And what do we see quietly changing is going to be the new actions, tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. That's going to be expected. Mel Robbins, that's it. Yep, Mel Robbins, she's awesome. I think Mel B was a Spice Girl. I think that's Scary Spice. But I love you for trying, my love. But yeah, Mel Robbins. She's awesome. I listened to her a while back when she did her TED talk on fear, and if you have a phobia, and she actually, that really helped me in some of the areas I needed help in. But this Let It Be is an amazing theory to go off of. But yeah, so we have the Chinese tariffs happening with the EVs. Mexico steel imports are under review. The short-term impact, there'll be some higher prices for consumers. Long-term strategy will force a rebuild of key domestic supply chains. So again, like I said last time, we are going to, have some short-term pain for long-term success. And it is the long game. They always say China is masters at playing the long game. They're not worried about the next 10, 20 years. They're worried about the next 100, 200 years. And we all you gotta take a page out of their book. And because they're an enemy that doesn't mean you don't have respect for what they do and how they try to comport themselves when they're going against you. It is what it is. It's good to respect your enemies because at least you won't let your guard down. So, and I'm moving a little bit quicker here because I don't want to miss the manifestation. Manifestation. I sound like I'm from Ireland. Part of it. So the market snapshot, it's called rotation. So that's what's happening. And just real quick, investors rotating out of big tech into energy, financials, and materials, right? So that's they rotate what they're in. And so depending on if stocks are cyclical, seasonal, year round, depending on what they are or what's happening on the political landscape, what's happening if you have foreign stocks in the political landscape of a specific country, and how a new regime is coming in and how their politics could hurt or flourish an industry or company. And so that's really what investors rotating, that's what that means. Rotation is happening, and they're just moving money out of big tech into energy, into financials, and into materials. And why is rate worries and overbought technology sector. So with AI, it got very overbought. Even Nvidia had came down a bit. Everything could get overbought, right? That's why you never want to be overbalanced in one area or too heavily weighted in one area because you start taking on additional risk. You always rebalance your portfolio the way you need to. where everything has its percentage allocation. And so if you have 20% allocated to, global micro cap technology, and that does 80%, right? And the rest of your portfolio does 10%, most of your money is going to be in that small micro cap. You need to rebalance that so everything is in its place, because if the micro cap, which most likely is going to take a big hit as well, nothing moves straight up. You're going to be heavily weighted and take on all that risk, and you're going to take a hit. So always rebalance. And so things to watch are going to be the Fed minutes, see what the Fed is saying, what they're going to do with interest rates, what they think about inflation. Are they going to raise rates, lower rates? If they lower rates, the market should move. So so what are the Fed minutes? GDP, gross domestic product numbers. Are we growing as a country? What rate are we growing at? And also, you want to look at what we're growing at, right? But that's going to be a reflection of what? The present? No, it's of the past, right? Because that's the numbers. That's where we get the numbers from. So you also want to look at, okay, this is where we're at. It's a little better than last time. Still not where we want to be, but with 228,000 jobs created when they thought it was only going to be 100,000 jobs created, right? Manufacturing coming back. The Doge are finding trillions being invested in the country. The border being closed up, and so on and so forth. Now with this tariff thing happening, is it going to level off, or are they going to negotiate deals where trade is going to start to move? And if we become reciprocal, meaning if we're not taken advantage of like that, do you know the money? Do you know where America will be? How rich America can get again, and that exponentially richer. And so GDP can go through the roof. So it's important to look, and then also housing data. So those are what you want to look at to see with GDP. And so to get a quick hit on the digital dollar pilot. What does it mean? So everyone, I don't know if you're, but right, the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, it matters because that's centralized control, that's privacy concerns, that's a major change in the banking system. So I mean, we're almost digital to begin with, anyway, right? So I mean, we don't really use cash. We do everything mostly digital. And if the banks want, they can say they don't want your business. They can freeze your accounts. So you were kind of there. If it ever went CBDC, I don't think it's going to. But if it ever did, that is a problem, because that's like saying, I want you to go all electric, and you say, I don't want an electric car. I want to drive my Escalade. That's scarce. Okay, when you go to the pump, the person with, say, a hybrid is going to pay $2 a gallon of gas. But you get the pleasure, because you went against the regime that's in place, and it's centralized control of the digital dollar. You can pay $20 a gallon for your gas. And if you go on Facebook and maybe you say the wrong things, then maybe they turn your money off a little bit, and you can't pay your electric bill, say, so you don't have hot water for your kids, right? So that type of control is no bueno. And I don't think it's going to happen, but they have a pilot program. They've been quietly testing the CBDC with the BRICS nations, have been testing it. And so it has definitely been happening. So, Stephanie, they are mocking us, laughing at us. Those commercials don't get them clients. The world is going to split into two regions: U.S., Canada, Mexico, all one region, and so on for the rest of Earth. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll just be North America and everyone combined. At least when the people of Mexico think, say like Texas was theirs and Arizona was theirs, and it was taken from them. At least now they could just feel like they're part of it again, and they could possibly say, hey, we're back to we're getting land back. So that could be a positive with it. So God bless. I mean, whatever works out. But I'll tell you, under this president, whatever's going to work out is going to be America first, and what's going to benefit of America. If that makes us a stronger union, that would be amazing. So you never know. And you know what? It's weird because there's certain things I would have just always blew off, but I look at ideas and things people put out now. I look at it very different. Just because if you're putting it out there, it's and you're perceiving it, it's because it's in your field and it exists somewhere on some timeline. Something is existing like this, because otherwise it wouldn't be in our field. We wouldn't be talking about it. Just like inventions or things that pop in our head. These are things that if they're existing already somewhere. We just gotta manifest it into our timeline. So I don't look at things different anymore, and I tend to be more agreeable on things that may seem kind of out there, because not that it may not ever happen on this timeline, but it is happening somewhere, and we know that there are infinite timelines going on right now. So it's happening somewhere, right? The all good angelic timelines to the all bad chaotic, just horrifying, painful timelines, and everything in between. And we know quantum entanglement. Thank you, Lisa, babe. That was a good show. That everything affects everything. It goes right through. So we're all entangled. So let's see. They don't have the infrastructure for that. True. We just about right. They said if they hit our grid, we'll go back to like the 1900s. That'll destroy us. We don't even have our electrical grid protected the way it should be. A one good hacker could come in and do some damage, or a good direct drone strike. You never know. The Fed is dead. Look at the Treasury. Yeah, I know. They said the Fed is gonna go away, and everything is gonna be under the Treasury. But the point being is, if whoever's doing the meeting as of right now, they're still talking about the Federal Reserve. Although I heard that the Federal Reserve was shut. Was shut. It was just kind of going on for the public for a while, and that it was going to be under the Treasury. Even that the building is out of D.C. and was going to be somewhere in Texas. There was so many things being said about it. So that's another thing for me. We'll wait and see. But what does have to happen month over month is, are they going to raise rates, lower rates? How much they're going to raise or lower rates? Why they're going to raise or lower rates? What's happening with CPI and PPI, with inflation. So those are numbers that we have to deal with every day, that affect the markets, that affect how much we pay at the grocery store. So things that we need to know. And so, why it matters, and the angle on it actually is that this might be the reason, the CBDC might be the reason why crypto gets a boost from state governments, because going CBDC is a problem. Where crypto is concerned, even though it's a digital currency, it's decentralized. There's no structure in charge of it that's going to turn you off or on. And I know they were trying their best to get there with that. They wanted to control, Bitcoin. They wanted to control it, but it's a decentralized platform, and ultimately they're not going to. So, that can give rise to a need for states to have crypto in there. If the CBDC actually has a chance after their pilots to do anything, that's a great way to roll crypto in, and you just block it. So I think that's a great idea. All right. So I know I was talking a little fast throughout, guys, because I did want to get to the manifestation part of it for you. So this is manifestation through the kind of the quantum lens, and manifestation isn't magic, although people who don't believe in it try to reduce it to something silly, right? And something that, they say flippantly, like, I want $1 million. Why don't I have $1 million, right? And they try to make it sound stupid, but it's not magic. In fact, it's probably manipulation through focus, right? Because through your focus, you're manipulating you're co-creating, right? So you're literally manipulating your life to a point, because if you're manifesting on purpose and you're doing that, you have to be right. You're kind of manipulating through focus. So I think that's more like it. It's not magic. It's not that. We are co-creators. I think we are magical. I think we're amazing beings, and we can do a bunch of shit we don't know yet, especially once our DNA lights up, all of it. But I think quantumly, when you look at the quantum on what you're able to do, you literally are manipulating where you're at. And if you look at, I know Lisa talks about Marina Jacobi a lot, but she uses the coordinates, right? Like the cross, and negative, negative, positive, 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 negative, negative, positive. And if you can stay neutral, right? So you're manipulating your focus. So right? And you're staying neutral. And then you're doing positive words, thoughts, actions, right? To go into a positive coordinate to start to, vibe at a higher frequency. And so what you literally just manipulated your mindset and you're manipulating your frequencies to move up. So through your focus, you're able to do stuff like that. And so this was very pivotal for me in particular, because I was into the law of attraction for a long time. As soon as I heard it, I just believed it. And we believe initial course of medicine and everything else too by looking at the result of exposure. It's already done exposure to mainly us Americans, cause of the world. Yep. Yeah, that's which is why they, they don't pay. Wait till if it is reciprocal, these other countries are going to freak out when their people aren't paying 2 cents a pill or $1 a pill, because we got to pay $1,000 a pill for a diabetic medication or whatever, because we got to pay for marketing, the trials and everything else, and the marketing, the commercials, or everything. But yeah, so yes, Steph. So you want to be in neutrality. So if something is irritating the shit out of you, or someone is, you need to stay in neutrality, because if you let them take you to a negative coordinate, you're going to vibe at a lower rate. You're going to come down. Your frequency is going to go low, and then you start to attract more things. So you're annoyed right from your house, right? Let's say you have an annoying daughter or son, right? Whatever, and they annoy you. You go out of the house and you're like, oh, I want to choke them. Right? And so now you're pissed off. Then you get to the car, and as you start driving, your light comes on because your tire is low. You go get it. You go to get your tire. You put air in the tire as you're driving. It's really a bigger hole, so your tire goes flat. Right? Now you're stuck on the side of the road. You're going to be late for work. Now you're really pissed. Now they come. You see if you can get fixed. You get a lift as you're going to work. As you're driving there, you're speeding, so you get pulled over by a cop, and you get a ticket. And it's because you're lower vibe. So you want to come out neutral, right? So no matter what it is in your head, you know what? Thank you. I am grateful that you are showing me, more evidence of why I need to let you be you, but that I have options as well. And that's liberating. So thank you for making me feel that way, because now I know what my options are. Is I need to keep myself here, and I need to move here to go where I need to go. And now you go into your car with gratitude rather than stress and frustration. Now, when you're driving to work, as you go to get in your car, you realize that the $100 bill you lost is sitting on the floor right in front of your car, and you find it again, right? Or you turn and you find your wallet that you thought you lost. And all of a sudden, good things start happening to you, which in turn raises your frequency, raises what you're doing, raises your mindset. It's a whole different life. It's a whole different timeline. And we're manifesting timelines like that. You like the sound effect? That's how fast we do it. And so we're manifesting at massive speeds, right? Going through, reprinting with all our holograms, and we keep doing that. So we're never going to get back to the same timeline, but we can keep going positive timeline. That's the key. That's what we want to do. But that's through the quantum. That's exactly what it is. And so the observer effect is very important. And this goes to where your focus is going, right? Where are you choosing to let your energy be siphoned? It's so important to be protective, everybody. Be protective. Be protective of your energy. It just like you'd be protective of your kids, of your well-being, right? Of your safety, whatever it may be. Protective of your energy. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not important, and it's something that you need. Because the observer effect is the act of observing changes the outcome. So meaning that your attention and energy is focusing on lack, which will bring more lack. So if you're focusing on negative, if you're observing negative shit all the time, or uh, music that you shouldn't be listening to, shows that you shouldn't be watching, right? And you're people who are just energy suckers rather than energy givers, right? If you're doing that and you're observing how they're acting, how they're, how they're comporting themselves through life, and you're there, you're always with them, just observing them. What happens is because you're focusing on that, you're focusing on those issues, you're focusing on that show, the music, whatever it may be, that person who's just a drain. As you focus more on them, you're bringing your vibe down. Your attention or your energy is going straight into negative, and that's lack, and that brings on more lack or more frustration. And there's no way. This is not math where you have a negative and negative equals a positive. That doesn't work with this. You got to bring yourself to neutrality, then to that positive coordinate. So be really protective of your energy, guys. It's really important. And let's see, whatever captures your focus, attention, manifest, universe. Yeah, exactly, Lori. Exactly. So yeah, so where your focus goes, where your energy goes, your focus, or where your focus goes, your energy flows, right? And I said this on a different show, but it's true. Tony Robbins was saying that when they teach people, like I could go to the raceway over here in Vegas, right? They teach you how to drive a race car. Well, when you're going into a turn, you're going into a turn at over 100 miles an hour. What they teach the drivers to do, and it works 100% of the time, and when it doesn't work, it's because the driver lost concentration and actually focused on the wall. But when you're making a turn at 120 miles an hour, you're going to miss the wall by that much, right? But what they teach you to do is when you turn, you look at the way you're turning like that. If you turn, you're still going to be heading into the wall when you first start to turn because you're going so fast off the straightaway. If you focus on the wall, even though you're turning the wheel, you crash into the wall almost 100% of the time. 100% of the time, not almost. 100% of the time. But if you make that turn, right, that same, you're turning all the way, but instead of looking at the wall, you're looking this way, and you train yourself to do that, you miss the wall by literally an inch or two. And he said it was the most amazing things to watch it over and over and over again. It's like you're almost going speeding into a wall, like you're gonna try to self-delete yourself. That's how he said it was crazy to see, but they kept missing it if they took the instruction and went. And so where your energy flows, your focus goes, and you gotta make sure you're not looking at the wall going 180 miles an hour. Look at where you want to go, look at what you want to be, know that's what you are already, and act as if that's what you are. Walk into a room with your shoulders up and back. How would you feel? How would you act? How would you talk to people? How would you treat people? Right? All those things. When you can do that, how would all those things? How would you kind of move through your life if those things that you're feeling on that you've already attained, right? Because you're going to manifest, you already attained it. How would you move through life? And if you do that, and again, the grab avoid codes are great to use. Meditation is, I think, the key to it all. And no matter how much you meditate, if you can meditate another 15 minutes, no matter what you do, if you can enhance that, it will always help. You tend to have those experiences so that you can learn to be in neutrality. Yeah. The more you shift into it, the less you will have those experiences. Very true. Very true. And, and it's all patterning and pathology and the brain, we pattern our brains. And so the key is if your brain is patterned in a way where it's causing negative responses, right? Cortisol responses, testosterone drops, cortisol increases, and stuff like that. That's no good. And what'll happen is, like if you're in rush hour traffic at 5 o'clock every day, and every day you're having road rage and you're squeezing the wheel and you're cursing at people and giving them the finger and everything else, right? Well, on your day off at 5 o'clock, your body still goes through the delivery throughout your system, you'll get a drop in testosterone, and you'll get a rise in cortisol, right? The stress and fear hormone. You'll get a rise, even though you're sitting on your couch, not in traffic, because the body remembers. That's the pathology, the padding in your brain, and to the body and to the brain, you are actually in the traffic, not on your couch. Consciously, you know where you're at. Subconsciously, your body is going through that trauma again, even though you're not in that traffic. Your body's not getting a break. The only way to get a break is as when you're in that traffic, is to, when your brain starts to go to getting pissed off, to stay in neutrality and cut that padding off with some type of distraction. For me, it's music. I put music on and I start singing out loud, or I'll make myself laugh, ha ha ha, like that, right? And I'll start laughing. Then I put the music on and start singing, and people will start turn around and look at me because I'm singing. I sing even louder, and I don't know what it does, but it makes me feel better. And I go from neutrality into a positive coordinate in the traffic. And if I do that enough times, I broke the old pattern, old pathology, and I just made a new pattern where now when I am home and 5 o'clock traffic it should be hitting me in that bad way. It's not. I'm getting a good hormonal response in my body. So it's very important. The body remembers. Doesn't matter how long ago. You bring up a trauma, and your body will go through the same hormonal response subconsciously. Your body will think it's going through it again. Very, very powerful. So be cognizant of what you're doing. And then, the supposition would be there are multiple outcomes exist at once until choice collapses them. And I think that's a very interesting statement. So to end off this, what do you guys think about the frequency formula? Let's see. So what do you think about this? As I'm going to read some of the comments here, but what do you think about that multiple outcomes exist at one time until choice collapses them? That's a profound statement, and I would like. What do you think about that? I didn't realize we're doing it all so quickly. I was thinking it was this long drawn out process of consistently focus on certain things while maintaining. Yeah, you know what, I did too, and that's why I started getting frustrated, and why I loved when Lisa found Marina. I saw the science behind it and how it actually works, so you know what to do. Because even in the secret, they just say, yeah, do a vision board. Just do a vision board, and if you want to do better, get better. And it's stuff like that, those sayings, and they sound good on stage, and you're like, yeah, if I'm going to do better, I got to get better. And then I go home and go, how do I get better though? Like, how do I do it? Like, when in the moment I was caught up like everybody else. I was just excited to be there, right? But then I went home and I'm like, holy shit, how do I get better? If I knew how to get better, I wouldn't have came and seen this schmuck. And now I gotta worry. Now I gotta go again, right? So it's so I thought the same thing, that it's long, but you want to know manifestation. Literally, it's a muscle. If you practice it enough, you can manifest it. You can manifest immediate. And the other thing is, it doesn't have to be enough. Like if someone's making 50,000 a year and they want to manifest 10 million, right? If you're manifesting correctly, the dollar amount doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. We are owed through divine birthright. We have riches out there that are already ours. We just need to perceive it and commit 100%. That's not committing 99.9999999%. Committing 100% in knowing it's ours, and it will be delivered to us one way or another. So whether you're, poor, middle class, or working and trying to, it doesn't, time frame doesn't matter. That's something that we put on ourselves as a limitation because we don't believe we can do it quickly. And dollar amount is the same thing. Some of us don't believe we deserve to have the money. Some of us get more stressed when we have money, thinking on who's going to come knocking on the door asking for it, or if someone's going to take it, whatever the stress may be. So or we're just not worthy to have it, or I just can't even perceive having that much money. My family didn't have that much money. I don't have that. There's no way I can. I can't even think about it. It's so crazy to me to have $1 million or whatever the number may be for you or anybody else. But just know you can, and if you do it the right way, you will. Because humanity is waking up to our power, humans are magical, and it's time we enjoy it without doubting ourselves. And that is a beautiful statement, and that's the key. We have to stop doubting ourselves. And yeah, we are magical beings. We truly will be able to do things that defy everything we were told, right? Defy everything, every limitation we were told that we have. Uh, and we will literally be able to step out of this energy that we're in that's bogging us down like a tarmac on top of us, and step out of it into a light body with energy that you'd be able to see, probably an orb field that is huge, and just manifesting as we move and as we start to think, things will manifest. And who knows, the intuitive powers, and stuff that we have laying dormant inside us. I mean, the the options are limitless. So it's very, very interesting. Let's see, looping cycles. Um, what do you, Stephanie? What do you mean looping cycles? Let's see. We are helping connect more dots. Oh, oh. You are helping to connect more dots in understanding the quantum field and timelines in a practical way. Thanks. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, no, it was eye opening for me, especially when it's the 1 plus 1 equals 3, not the two. That whole thing was throwing me for a loop for a little bit too, because I'm good in math and I know 1 plus 1 equals 2, but it equals 3 in the quantum. And what it means by that is, as you're living on your hologram here, right? That's one timeline. Now you're vibing at a different right rate. So you create another. Now you're in another timeline too, and then the two collapse to make a third. So one plus one is two, and so you're constantly collapsing into each other. But if you don't have purposeful intent on what you're trying to manifest, what happens is you're creating, hologram, because higher vibe, lower vibe, higher vibe, lower vibe, higher vibe, lower vibe, higher vibe, lower vibe. All right. And so you're going up and down, and then the universe just goes like this. Ah, screw this. Boom. And then it gives you what your timeline is. And you're not going to like it because it's whatever the universe is going to give you, because you're bouncing up and down. So it does it for you. And that's when life happens to you, not for you. So you co-create and you have life for you. And so that's when you're gonna be high vibe, low vibe, high vibe, low vibe. Control your environment, control the things that are in your control. So when things out of your control hit, you can stay in neutrality because you're in control of your emotions, how you react and what you're reacting to, what you're telling yourself, the language you use, who you surround yourself with, all of that. It'll keep you neutral. And then you can do words, thoughts, actions to get you to the positive coordinate. So you're always hologramming yourself in a higher and higher timeline rather than taking the hit and going down a low vibe rabbit hole. Let's see, cause and effect. Neutral keeps your positive possibilities open and more receptive. Exactly. Because for you to listen, if something bad happens to you, for you to stay neutral is positive, right? Because if something bad happened, this is neutral, positive, neutral. Something bad, you're positive right now. Something bad happens, you're going to negative, right? Because it's lowering your vibe. You're getting frustrated, or you're getting upset, or whatever happens, right? Grieving, whatever. Now you'd be down here, but if you can train yourself to stay neutral, right? That's what you're already holding yourself up in other words, that's a positive coordinate almost, because you should be down here, but instead you're neutral. you're not feeling one way or another about it. What you're doing is saying, I'm grateful for this situation to be a life teacher, right? Thank you for showing me what not to do. Thank you for showing me what how your train of thought on what you're thinking, because now I know what my options got to be when I think them through. But I'm very neutral, so thank you for that. And now words, thoughts, actions, and I'm moving back up. So that neutrality is huge, Lori. 100% agree, and that's where you got to be. So yeah, the frequency formula is, just so you guys can see it. So hopefully you guys see it. That's the frequency formula. Align with universal energy and create the life you deserve by mastering the numbers for success. And we've had some pretty good stories on it and feedback and reviews. So I thank everybody who's purchased it, and for those who have bought it, if look at how you're doing it. If you're not getting the results you need or quick enough, how many times are you manifesting throughout the day? How many times a day you're doing it throughout the day? Are you doing the right affirmations? Or are you doing the process the way that is conducive to you? Maybe the way I do it, you may need to do it more. You may need to do more visualization. You may do it less, do more affirmations. So you got to play with it a little bit. But what I do know, if it works for one, it can work for all of us. And that's what I would love to see happen, is all of us really do well with it. So, but Ken, yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it. That's living in the chemical primal body. Oh, is that the looping thing? Oh, I'm far behind on my thing here. Let's see, the negative patterns people stay in looping cycles. That's it, right? So yeah, and that's what I'm. Yeah, so the loop. That's what I was talking about. So if something happened 20 years ago to you that was horrific, and you keep talking about it, those looping cycles will keep. Even though it's not happening to you again, it's happening to you again in your body. Your body's going through the same response. You're putting your body through a massive amount of trauma. And so how to break those is what's important. How to break phobias and whatever limitations were put on you. You have to have something when the pattern is happening to break the pattern and start a new pattern. Break the pattern, start a new pattern. And you'll start to break the pattern faster and faster. You'll notice triggers faster and faster, right? So something to think about when when you're starting to feel those responses, you want to jump on that. Let's see, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, not physical beings. That's right. That's why we're in a spiritual battle right now, which is why we're so used to doing everything in the physical, but we are being attacked spiritually. And that's why we see some of these people so off base and doing such evil stuff, is they can't even fathom what a spiritual attack is, that it's a spiritual war out there. Good and evil, right and wrong. All the other words and all the other divisive words that are made up to shut people's speech down, it's all bullshit. It's either right or wrong or good or evil. That's the camp I'm in. So if you're on the evil side, you're not on my side. You're against me. If you try to do the right thing, you're a good person and you try to do the right things, then we're on the same team. Doesn't matter where you come from or what what religion or whatever. It don't matter. Good and evil, right or wrong. That's it. All the other words are bullshit with the isms and the phobias. They go somewhere else. Uh, all these topics about manifestation and timelines, etc., could each be a whole show on their own. Yeah. Please, you know what? That's a good idea, babes. We should do a deep dive on that with on the timelines with manifestation and collapsing timelines, and see if we can get a good show out of it that'll bring value to everybody. But thank you for the suggestion, and I'd appreciate it. Observe and be strategic. Yes. John, you could copy this part of the video and upload it as another video. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody engaging and talking and talking about this stuff because it makes me think of different things. It starts to connect more for me as well. Ancestral looping, yeah, it's crazy how it sticks in the DNA. I always thought that was such bullshit. I thought it was just people being victimhood shit. That's not. It's that happens. It really is. Lisa. Great chat, great show. Oh, thanks, Mama. Thanks, Steph. Great show. Thanks, John and chat. And I am going to be ending the show because I am way over time. My God, I'm sorry, guys. Really a powerful show today, John. Thanks, and I appreciate you always being there. Thanks for being the light and shining so bright. Oh, thank you. Although I got a nice tan today. I'm very excited. But yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. And so I will let you guys go with that. And the one thing again, I just wanted to. I think it's really important. Multiple outcomes exist at once until choice collapses them. So you have a lot of outcomes that are happening at one time. If you make the right choices, you collapse all the bad timelines out there, and you're going to get the outcome that's going to be the most positive. So don't collapse the good timelines for yourself. Stay positive, stay neutral at the very least, and then do something to get yourself in a happy mood. Again, for me, music. I'll sing out loud in the car in traffic. I don't care. It's not. I don't care about how I look anymore because I just want. I want to be. I want to be vibrating higher frequency because when I look at them and they're pissed off at me and I'm singing and laughing, I know they're going to get the flat tire. They're going to get pulled over. They're going to have not a nice ride home. For me, shit's going to open up nice. I'm going to get a good parking spot. And when I get home, I'm not going to carry that in my house and unload on my wife and my kids because I'm pissed off, right? I'm going to come in with a smile, singing probably, and them hearing the music and saying, "Oh, you're crazy," or "You're crazy. What are you doing with the music?" So, right? But I'm going to come in a happy mood. I ain't going to be the one getting, kind of the piss kicked out of me all over the place because I'm vibing low. So anyway, Ken, take care. Stephanie, bye. Lori, Annette, everybody else. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. And yes, we'll leave this one comment up next. Here, you're right. The brain does not know past from present. The reason we have to live in the present moment. That's right. I saw a great quote about that, and I got in trouble for it. But there was a really good quote that was put out there that we waste so much time thinking about the past. We don't commit 100% to what we're doing in the present. And if you have half measures, there's no way to have a bright future, which we all know is everything happening at the same time. But I just thought that was such a great quote. Stop worrying about past stuff that's happening. Stop worrying about what's going to happen in the future and give 100% commitment to the present at all times. And the future takes care of itself. And I will leave you with that. And I hope everybody has a great week and a great day. And I love you all. And next Wednesday, I will be with Jace. We'll be doing Crypto Corner, and we'll be getting back into crypto. Lisa and I will be doing a deep dive on Sunday. And I think, I don't know if I think Lisa's doing her thing on Monday as well. Her normal show on Monday, but that'll all be coming out. And then you can, Lisa has her sessions and her book as well. And at least if you're doing meditations, I'm telling you, it'll do nothing but make you, Monday at 3. It'll do nothing but help you. But the downloads that she gets for some people are pretty amazing. So I would look to see if you can get some time with her. She's amazing. All right. I love you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.